channel. In today's video, we are doing the 2026 collection tour. I've gotten some new horses. Now, disclaimer, I don't know everybody's name, so they're going to rename nameless if I don't know it, but you guys might know it. And if you do, throw it in the comments who you know that the horse is that I may not know. So we are going to start in our office with all the horses on the bookshelf, and then we're going to work our way around the house. I do not have a designated horse room, so this is going to happen kind of in random places where I have them. So jump on board, come with me, and let's do a collection tour. To begin my collection tour, we're actually going to do it in our office. So first up is the Adios mold. I have Champagne Wishes, and I have Old Bob. I have Pomaloose, I have Ash, I have Phoenix, Othello, Tilly, I think this one's name was. There's Winter, Summer, Fall, Spring, which I really need to get this one in Glossy because I have the other three in Glossy and I did not get that one in Glossy, which kind of stinks. Then there's Red Carpet Royalty and Smoke. And then there's a Salinero model over there. I don't remember that one's name, but it has a broken stand. So I had to like put it out of the way until I could get a stand. Okay, next is Aberazzo. And then my red, white, and blue ethereal model. Fire, water, wind, earth. Don't remember this one's name. Times Square, Wilder, and my gold spun surprise. All right, moving down, we have Flamingo, Jasmine, Sunny, Thunder, Cloudy, and the Rainbow Pentaloosa. We also have this girl, I don't remember her name. And then there's Edge of Glory. And then these two also, but again, I don't remember their names because I've had them forever and I just haven't looked them up. Okay, so next we're gonna go down to the Salinero shelf. So over here is Celtic Salinero. Don't remember this one's name. Don't remember that one either. Partly Cloudy. No, that's Cloud 9. I'm sorry, that's Cloud 9. Rubicon, my pride and joy of my herd. Bredottis, Glossy Bredottis. Sorry, not sorry. And then this one I just got two, but I don't remember what its name is. I know it was a web special, but I can't remember. Maybe it's on the bottom. Let's take a look. Yes, Prego, I think is what it looks like. Prego. Okay. Like I said, I'm not very good with my horse's name, so bear with me. Okay, next is my Totalas line. There's Vale, there's Salavino. This is my Golden Dancer, is what I named her. Landler and Glossy. This is Adaya HP. I have Matte and I have Glossy. I have Rialto. And then I have this one. It was another web special. I don't remember its name. Totalas. And then there's one more over here, but I don't think I really knew what that one's name was. Okay, down below them are some of my draft horses. So, sorry, it's kind of hard to see. So we have Cardinal, we have Shenandoah, we have Wells, I think it was, or something like that. The one beside Wells, can't remember the name. And then same thing with this Glossy draft right here. And then I do have my mare in full sets there as well. Sitting over here on the kind of my art display is an art project I started for myself that I never got to. I also have Inbox Rain, Inbox Spirit, which I think I will leave them in the boxes. Okay, coming into my next room, this is the Zafira Conga. And then I have, I think it's a Cancion or something very similar to that, if that's not exact. And then we start with my loping quarter horses. There's Spartan and Checkers, and one I don't remember the name. There's Harley, there's Spinabee, Spinaway. There's some of my Bollywood Glossies, Bollywood Matte, and then I've got, let's see, Latigo, and then there's one, this one right here, I don't remember the name, but then there's Ashton and Platinum Star. Okay, under them is the Fireheart Conga. So there's Matte Mohave, Glossy Mohave, Bolero, Zeus, Blue Zeus, Domingo, Stein, and Fireheart. And then over here, I have these ponies. I cannot remember what they're called, but they're there, and I don't remember any of their names, so that's just them. Over here on this shelf, I have my DAH Arabian that I made years ago from Peter Stone. Then this was a little Halloween set. And then back there is the Conquering Tide Arabian. And then beside that one right there is a Peter Stone paint pony. And there's yellow. And there's cheesecake. And then back there is my Mare and Foal special run set. And then there's Cosmo Glossy right back there. Next we have my Tennessee walking horses. There's Lady C, Meadowlark. This one with the pink halter is actually a TSC special run. And then there's Ophelia. And then this set right here was the JCPenney set that had all of these guys in it. And then below them are just some stablemates. There's a lot of random stablemates on this shelf. What I'm going to do is clean out my stablemates so you guys can purchase them at Breyerfest. And this is just a small part of what I need to go through. And up here, I've got my Mare and Foal set. They're the vintage set that came out. And then followed by these Mustangs, the Shelbys. So up here, I've got my Golden Secretariat. I've got my Elvis Presley Rising Sun model, signed by Priscilla Presley from Breyerfest. And then right below her, a little hard to see, it's a TSC draft horse. Here is Justify. And then I've got, sorry, I'll zoom out a little. Northern Dancer. I have Secretariat. And then American Pharaoh, you can kind of see his nose right there. So he's up there as well. And then behind them is actually the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. Up next are my customs. So you can see I have two on the Vallegro mold. One I'm considering a Mustang mold. And then I've got this Appaloosa guy here. And I've got from Paint Pony Studios. This is Mare Duell, I believe. She's Superhero. And then next is Spartan and my little Spartan bracelet. So BF Gundana Bear, which is his show name. And then I've got Appaloosa guy here and a paint. They're on the Animar mold. And then I've got two of the draft horses on the Vermeier mold. All right. And then there's my Palomino Gypsy banner. A couple of Arabians. This one's a Fireheart custom. And then another glossy Cosmo. This one is a gray version. And then I've got a Salinero and a Totalas custom. I've got a Bouncer custom. And then what Breyer would consider the Mustang. And then another Zafra model. Following them is my Bunny Conga. So there's Elspeth, Feyre, Nature's Goddess, and Bloody Mary. I also have Glinda. Yep, Glinda, yep. And Aurea. All right. And then this is a DAH I named Ronin Warrior. And then this one came from Moonlight Madness 2025. And then this one came from Equilocity 2025. So these two don't quite have new names yet. And then here's some more Moonlight Madness draft horses. And again, they're remaining nameless. Oh, and then this Moonlight Madness was from a few years ago. Here is my 75th anniversary Stablemates collector box. And then I've got the 75th anniversary Breyer horses, the traditionals. So there's a sport horse. There's a Spanish horse. There's the stock horse hidden behind my mini Atlanta. And then down below them, I actually have a Collecta horse. I've got my signed horse from Breyerfest. And then these two, I forget what they were called, but they were the draft horse surprises. And then my mint little stablemates who decided to take a nap. And then I've got this one, the 75th anniversary rearing mold from Breyerfest, a special run. And then I've got Salute and my mini Winnies from the Breyerfest surprise box, 75th Advent calendar. And then there's this guy. And then my Premier Club pony here. I forget what its name was. And then a Web Special Classic. A glossy version of the Ideal, or the little paint pony. I forget what it's called. And then I have this set, the Killington set, the big horse, or the traditional and the stablemate. And then there's another one, Reverence. on the Arabian mold. And then I just got some other miscellaneous ones. Like here's another Totalas. Here's our celebration surprise horse from last year. Celebration surprise horse, just our celebration horse. Chili, the Morgan horse, wearing a scarf. And I've got Wimpy's little chick, and I think it was Bugaboo or Bugaloo beside him. Then my Merry Dancer surprise from Air Club, and Boomerang. And then behind them are more of the 75th anniversary horses. I got the Western horse. I have the Saddlebred. And then we go up, and here's a lot of my glossy models that I have. Or some of them. I guess it's not a whole lot of them. And then the 75th anniversary Arabian set. Chardonnay. And then Future is Bright, my Breyerfest special run. And then more miscellaneous stablemate. See, as you guys can tell, like this all just needs a good cleaning because it is such a mess right now. And oh, look, I've got mini ponies from Dan Van's Customs that she sends when you purchase. And I have got little ducks as well. See those Santa hat? He's so cute. Okay. And I'll go up a shelf, show you what's on that one. So as you can tell, like these guys are here. Were purchased at like one of my very first Breyerfest, and I've had them ever since, and I love the heck out of them. All right. And a lot of these you've probably seen in shorts that I've done. So I'm just, you know, re-going over what I have so you guys can really take a look and see. I know sometimes things are posted kind of fast and it's just a quick view. Okay, and then up above is my Atlanta conga. So this first one, of course, is Atlanta. Then we have the Breyerfest limited edition. Then I've got this custom here made from Paint Pony Studios. And I've got the Premier model as well. Okay, following them is my Croy model line. Sable Island pony. Now, a lot of these I don't remember the names, but you can see which ones I have. I really like, pride and joys in my collection are the glossy Sable Island and then the Filgery, is that how you say that? Filgery? One beside him. Sugarloaf, I think its name is. And then the purple Christmas surprise morning horse. So I've been pretty lucky to get the purple, especially since purple is my favorite color. All right, next is the the Cantering Warmblood. So there's Northern Dancer. There's oh my gosh, I should know that one's name. It is everywhere. I can't remember though. There's Danny. And then I've got these two as well. So Miss Independent, and again, that one's name is slipping me. All right, next is my Morgan horses from Peter Stone. So this first one is a Moonlight Madness. I think it was like Veronica or something very similar to that. This one is like a little starry, spacey one. And this is a designer horse in the peep pattern. Another designer horse. And then this was called Reindeer Run, one of my first Peter Stones I ever got. It was actually my second one. And then I kind of got like really hooked. Now, I didn't get that one like recently, but I got it a while ago and I just fell in love with the mold. Next is my pride and joys of my herds, my Arabian girls. Or girls and boys, I believe. Where they're just all mares. I can't remember. Oh my gosh. So this one was a Breyerfest special run. There's Just a Dream. Breyerfest limited edition. Make-A-Wish. Summer Love. And then, I don't remember that one's name, but that is Mirrors from the Smoke and Mirror set. Or that one might be Smoke, actually. I might have gotten that wrong. There's Raja. There's Raven. There's Oasis. And then next are my jumping horses. So this one was one of the Breyerfest limited editions online. Breyerfest special run. Breyerfest limited edition. And then I've got like, Get Rowdy and the other gray. I forget what its name was. But then I have these two. There's the original Bristol. All right. Following them will be my, I'm going to zoom out here, my Lady Face molds. So there's Zenyatta, there's Lonesome Glory, Breyerfest special run, Reflector, Thrill Seeker, and then this one beside Thrill Seeker was a web special, and then there's the TSC special, and then there's Tis the Law. Beside them are my Peruvian Pasos. All right, and then down here we've got Ringmaster, we've got Padre, We've got Chickalinda, we have Lady Liberty, and then there's Bondi and Vallegro, and the one I can't remember its name. And then there's Brahms and Stormy Sky, Gathering Storm, and then Sergeant Reckless? Sergeant Pepper, sorry. See? I'm having a terrible time with this. All right. Ooh, I'm going to shift here. Okay. Then we have Snowman, and I don't remember these two, but there's my All Glory mold. And then there's Legend, and I think Oak was that one's name, and then Honey Bear. And then back here is more of the, these guys. So there's Mountain and the two others on either side of him. I don't remember their names because I've had them for a while. Over here is my Fall Leaves horse. It's Matrix. And then there's this little guy. And then there's Joker. I forget. Poker Joe, I believe. And then I've got some Glossy of the Vermeier models. Now I did sell my original Vermeier model because it just was not Vermeier because it just wasn't growing on me. Then I got my show jumping Warmblood lines here. Got quite a few of them. And then there's Star Mom and Child. There's oh, I forget what their names are. Heartbreaker or something like that. And then I've got this single one. Then I've got some of my thoroughbreds down here. And then I've got my mare in full sets, which they are having a terrible time staying standing. I don't understand why they want to keep falling over, but they do. Over here, I have my Andalusians. Then I've got my Marwaris, however you say that. Okay. And there's a couple of these girls. All right. And then there's some of my ponies. And then over here are the rest of my Icelandic ponies. Up here is my Llewellen conga. So this one I got from Fluffy Dog Studios. This is Toasted Marshmallow. This one doesn't have a name yet. She just came. He just came. This is Llewellen. Surfers, Riptide. And then that one was from Breyerfest. Don't remember the name. And I've got a mare in full set from Breyerfest. And then Adonis, my Premier Club rearing horse. And then up here I've got a Stone Pebbles model, a Stone Chip model. Back there is my Year of the horses from a few years ago. And then I've got my Halloween horse Screech. And then behind Screech is a red, white, and blue Esprit mold. And then I've got my purple decorator from Peter Stone. Behind them is my Animars. I've got Party City, I think his name is, or something similar to that. And then my World Equestrian Games horse. And then another Stone Chips with Princess and the Frog. And then my first ever Peter Stone Pebbles model. And my first ever Peter Stone ever. And then down here in the very back are my Adamak models. Kind of hard to see back there, but they're there. And then there's my Ish models, Ideal Stock Horse from Peter Stone. And then in the front is my Remington molds. This one was a Moonlight Madness. This one I picked up at Breyerfest 2 years ago. And then this one was purchased online. The name is now Renellum. All right, and then lastly down here, I've got some more Peter Stones. So in the back, I've got a Palouse model. I've got Loki. I've got another Palouse model. And then I've got my Conquering Tide Saddlebred. And I've got my horses, Cancer from the Zodiac series that they did. This is my most recent design horse. These are my quarter horses. That's Bandit. There's Artem. I love Artem. All right. Then there's Flotilla. And there's Vanish. And Thor. And Stare and Gaze of Faith. And then the Loyalty and Illusion. It's the brown paint. And then my Arabian Atomic Red over there. And then back here I have Livingston. And then I have Rosanna. If you guys enjoyed my collection tour, I had so much fun showing it to you. Now, sorry that some of them were a little jumbled, like the ones behind me. Some of the horses, I didn't remember the names. I do feel kind of bad about that. But I do have more models that are just put away that are not out because I have so many. So when I get a chance to get a bigger house, get, you know, more space, I will have a bigger collection tour for you. But for now, this is what I have. I hope you enjoyed it. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.